Greetings, everyone. My name is Jacinta Higgs. I am principal and the CEO of Akhepran International Academy, located in beautiful Bahamas and on Bernard Road in the Foxhill Village. Very historic village, I may add. Here at Akhepran International Academy, as educators, our primary purpose is to ensure that each child fulfills the very divine purpose for which he or she was born. And so hence the vision of Akhepran International Academy was based out of the recognition that the traditional educational system that thrives upon, that focuses upon BJC, BGCSE examinations that are born out of the Euro-Western tradition cannot satisfy the needs of all of our children. And so at this school, we recognize gifted and talented students, those top 1% to 5% students who will fulfill the BJC and BGCSE curriculum in half or a quarter of the time that is prescribed or suggested by the Ministry of Education. So those are gifted and talented students. Additionally, we cater to the core percentage. If you know about the bell curve in education, that's where most of the students will fall into a guideline, a frame of reference. So we cater to those regular students who need their 3 years to do BJC and BGCSEs. Additionally, we focus on those special needs children, those who need smaller class settings, those who need teachers to help them along the way with regards to personalized, customized curriculum, timetable, those who need a little call from teachers or from administrators to parents so that we can facilitate that triangulation of education between the school, that's the staff or the teachers, the scholar, that we call them here at our school, we call them scholars or the student, and the stakeholders, the key stakeholders, which are the parents who are making the greatest financial and spiritual investment into their children. And so at Akhepran International Academy, we recognized that it was critical for us to begin school from 7:30 every morning, Monday through Friday, till 5 p.m. In my research as a doctoral candidate in Minnesota at the University of St. Thomas in Minnesota, upon studying all of the top educational systems in the world, in Singapore, in Europe, in Asia, all the Asian countries, I realized that children were going to school for 13 to 15 hours a day. And some of them would go to school all day, go home, get a lunch or some food, and go back again for guided library work. I realized even in Minnesota, prep school, many of them, the children go from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And so we recognize that our children in the Bahamas were only working on 6 hours. And parents, I want to guide you. You may think we have a school year, so let's say 365 days in the school year, but I want you to go and do your own due diligence research of literally how many hours and how many days our children actually sit in a classroom where they are taught. Because what happens is you have to take away immediately 2 months for summer. You have to take away 2 weeks for December. Take away 2 weeks for Easter. And when you begin to remove all of the holidays, all of the national sports days, all of the other debates and the spelling bee competition, all of the examination days, so they may be in school doing exams. However, those are non-teaching days. So when we did our assessment, we recognized there was about 100 days, 120 days that the children receive actual time on task academic training and teaching. And so we recognize the need then to give the longer day hours. Many persons ask, how do the children manage? Do they survive that day? And I assure you, any day you come and drive by the school and park on the side of the road, and you will see for yourself, the children, some of them are here from 6:30, because you do have parents who want to be diligent in their work and efficient. And so they want to beat the traffic there out to school and out to work on time. And then some of them stay even up to 7 o'clock. Why? Because there are additional things that we do. The sporting program, the extra classes program, again, trying our best to prepare the children for what is required of them in the Bahamas, but more importantly and more profoundly in the world. We are not going against Eleuthera against New Providence or Andros against Exuma, meaning Bahamians against Bahamians. We are preparing these children to go against the Asians, the Chinese, who are dominating the world scene with regards to educational success and passes. We want these children to go against the Nigerian children, the African children, who many of them achieve their doctorate degrees at age 21. That is what we're trying to do. We're trying to prepare global scholars. We are getting our children ready to be able to sit vis-a-vis in a boardroom or in a classroom or in a college course along any Asian child or Chinese or Korean or Indian or Panamanian person that will come to the country and want to pursue educational aspirations. So we are preparing Akhepran students to recognize early in their primary and high school life that there is a world outside of these classrooms here in Fox Hill. And so the vision also recognized, based on my doctoral studies again, having to visit classes in Minnesota way back in 2006. There was a revolution with regards to technology in the classrooms. So iPads were mandatory in certain schools, laptops, desktops. These were important educational tools of teaching and learning. And so when I surveyed the scene here in the Bahamas, having graduated and coming back, I'm saying, oh my God, it is important for those devices to be introduced and employed in our classroom settings. So what is it in terms of the value of how they're used? A key way is Edmodo, which is an educational online software program that we use for the children, where parents can have 24/7 access to whatever their child is doing in a particular class. The children are tested via Edmodo. The children are given notes via Edmodo. YouTube videos, we can download any YouTube video from Khan Academy that would teach a particular subject, download it onto or upload it onto the Edmodo program, and the children have access to the concepts, to the methodologies of that particular topic or lesson. Again, 24/7. If they get up in the night and they want to review the information, that concept, they can do so in the comfort of their own homes. And so again, that Edmodo that we have here at Akhepran International Academy is then the springboard, the mandatory springboard for any student going in college. Because once they hit college, they must use Blackboard, which is the higher version of the Edmodo that we use here. And so you will see children in grade 1 here at Akhepran International Academy utilizing the educational software programs via their iPad and or their laptop in the classes. And so from grade 1, they're not too young to learn. And remember, Barack Obama, first black president of the United States of America, won as a result of using social media and the technological devices available to him. Corporate CEOs, billionaires, are able to look at every penny that goes into their bank accounts via devices, via, as a matter of fact, now their cell phones, if they are in Brazil and they are from Switzerland. And so we must understand that it is time for Bahamian children. We celebrate being one of those countries where we have the highest, amongst the highest in the world, gross income, average income. Let us use that money. Let us use the resources. Let us use the billionaires who are here in our country with monies that they are willingly wanting to give out and share. Let us invite them to come into the classrooms and begin to now outfit these classrooms and these schools for the children with regards to getting them ready to be functional, efficient, competent Bahamian scholars, Bahamian citizens for the 21st century. Our doors in this country are opened. Our land, our natural resources, the aragonite, the sand, the sun in terms of the tourism, and the other crops in terms of the farms are now being pursued by persons from other countries. Is there any way that we can use the educational system to directly prepare our citizens to be able to take advantage of some of the potential and, to my understanding, fluid current $1 billion that's floating around in terms of these revenues and these resources? What are we saying? Education is the key, primary, and the number one way for us to begin to write our national agenda. And so at Akhepran International Academy, our epistemology, not philosophy, our epicenter, our primary core essence of what we are doing is to resurrect, as it were, all of the ancient African values, wisdom, knowledge, philosophies, sciences that predates Euro-Western or white man college and university. So you go back to Timbuktu if you want to know first universities on the planet. You go back to ancient Africa if you want to know the first hieroglyphic writings or writings on scrolls. And so we want to begin to reconnect, as it were, after having that erasure experience of enslavement for 200-300 years. We want to reconnect our ancestors' knowledge and wisdom and values of the divine being. And we want to now help our children to understand how it's in their DNA. So we just want to recall it, bring it up for them, so that they can now, when they go to university or any corporate job, they will be able to sit, function, they will be able to be efficient, they will be able to be honest, have integrity, they will be humble. They would let their God self supersede at all times their ego selves, their egos. Ease God out. We don't want to ease God out. We want their God self to always reign supreme in any decision-making position or opportunity that they are confronted with. And so early time and long days is one of the ways we have found that our results are beginning to improve. Technology, where the children don't have to sit in class writing 3 years of notes. In 1 second, our teachers can email the entire notes and diagrams in color with videos to the children. And therefore, thereafter, they just work the workbooks, work the questions in preparation for the exams. SAT and ACT, 2 college readiness examinations, are mandatory to our school, because we are not just concerned as we try to make the child or help the child to fulfill the divine purpose for which they were born. We are not just concerned about when they finish to go and get a job, because really and truly there are very few jobs anywhere in the world where you can step out of high school and go and do the job effectively. You really do need, if only some 2 years level of training. That's why you have many adults in this country and all over the world returning to the classroom. So our guide, our goal, our governance is to see if we can ready the children before they leave high school so that there is a seamless transition straight into college, spend 2 years if they need, 4. Our intent, though, that they go straight through in their doctorate degree areas, whatever field or discipline they wish to pursue. And then when they are finished, then, unfortunately, many of them are going to stay in the United States for a little while. I know from personal experience and being a teacher and educator for years. And it is our prayer that many of them, after spending maybe 5 years or 10 years, gaining experience in a first world country where efficiency and policies are primary, then they will return to the Commonwealth of the Bahamas to help us with regards to, again, proper governance, efficiency, forward thinking, development and expansion. and most of all, a better life for all Bahamians, as opposed to the world trend where you have only 1 to 5% owning 99% of the world's or the country's wealth, and the majority of the people being pushed down and oppressed and having to fight like vagabonds at the bottom for the crumbs. So if you have more Bahamian students being prepared for college, being admitted to college and accepted and admitted to college, matriculating through colleges all over the world in their specialized discipline, successfully graduating from college, gaining real life experience in the real world, and then prayerfully one day coming back, then we are looking at a strategic, systematic, systemic, and structural guide to prepare the Bahamas to move towards its thrust of being paradise on earth. That is a huge goal, I know. But that's what visions are. Visions are huge. I humbly ask God each day to help me as the principal. And it's a struggle to stay the course. My pastor, former pastor, Monsignor Moss, always said to us, put your hands on the plow, on the handle of that mower, that plow, and you push and push each day to accomplish the task that has been set out for you. And even if your hands bleed, if you see the blood dropping, do not move your hands from the handle. And so that is what we are doing here as a team of Akhepran teachers to guide and govern our children towards the realization that there is a real big world that is not too friendly out there waiting on them. And so how best can we prepare them for their life's journey? And so as we teach African epistemology, and what do I mean? The ways, the wisdom, the work ethics of our African ancestors who built pyramids that are aligned with the cosmos. And today, no scientists on the face of the planet know how they did it. As a matter of fact, they say aliens did it. That's their best explanation. And as we try to show our children that our Africans gave mathematics to the world, Pythagorean theorem, that our African ancestors gave science and medicine to the world, that the bush medicine that we put down and don't want to drink anymore are the kernel essence for what pharmacists use to this day as the essence of the pills that we actually take. As we begin to teach our children the history, the heritage, the legacy, and the identity of their African ancestors in their DNA. Sometimes people, that's called a cultural immersion with knowledge and research information that I got from the university libraries. Many people would not understand what we are teaching the children. So we have had a little negative spew. And sometimes we know by the source where it comes from. But said, oh, we're teaching them a cult. Oh, they don't believe in God. All kinds of negative things. Oh. However, when you do not know, if you want to improve yourself, you ask. The African Afrocentric epistemology that we are teaching the children is coming from Dr. Ben Yohakanin, Dr. John Henry Clark, Dr. Mulana Korenga, Dr. Shenkat Diop, and you name it. The list goes on. And Asa Hilliard, Dr. Asa Hilliard, you name it. There is research, a body of knowledge from Temple University, from Howard University, from Fisk University, that are in libraries, volumes of information that shows the intellectual legacy and heritage and the power and the knowledge of our ancestors. And here at Akhepran, the word cult comes from culture. And culture comes from this epistemology of Afrocentric wisdom that has been appropriated by the Europeans, by the Queen of England, by the Pope, and I am Roman Catholic. They have the knowledge, by the universities in other parts of the world. And this knowledge now must be returned to the children, the descendants of the ancient Africans. And so that is what Akhepran International Academy is all about. That is what we celebrate. And so I want to say welcome as you now go and see what is being done here and taught in this school. Hotep, Ma'at, and God bless you all.